Welcome to the No Manches Que Paso podcast, a podcast no one asked for about the unfiltered ups and downs of life from the perspective of two Latinas who got familias to manage,
real shit to deal with, and are just taking it one day at a time. Our chismes are your chismes,
porque why not? All right, welcome back to the No Manches Que Paso podcast. We got Vanessa bringing the color in today.
You know, I felt it's a
Fit check.
kind of like a gloomy day today, so I wanted to bring some color up in my life. So this is a Jordan Success. Shout out to Success in Michigan. They're a small business, and they collaborated with Jordan. So my husband bought this. I love it. And I got to match it up with my Nike React 270s, which are also very colorful.
I like them.
These are my favorite shoes. They're comfy, they're colorful, and
they're see-through?
Yeah, so I got to spice it up with my socks.
Yeah.
Have some different colored socks up in there. But what about you, girl?
They're cool. I got new Nikes. I found these. They are nice and clean. They are the Court Legacies.
Yes, those are my favorite shoes. Those are my, like, everyday shoes.
Oh.
So you got, like, the crispy ones. Those are kind of like shoes that you want to, like, you just want to, like, buy them yearly because they're just so clean and they go with everything.
I like them. I can just slip them in.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, got my Court Legacies on. And I got a t-shirt or shirt from Kohl's sales rack. I think it was like $2, and I'm like,
get it, girl.
Might as well. And then it is chilly up in here. We got the space heater hanging out with us, but I wanted to wear a sweater.
Hopefully next season it'll be warm up in here.
Yeah, so I actually got this from, what is it called? I got this when I was getting Stitch Fix boxes.
Oh, I still get those.
I used to get them when I was wanting new clothes for the wedding industry
Yep.
and like to network and stuff. And so when I got out of it, I stopped doing it. But this is one of the Stitch Fix sweaters, and
nice.
I love it.
I have very similar ones. I love those Stitch boxes though.
I do too.
Because I hate going shopping for clothes.
I do too.
But all right, and what do we got here to drink?
We have our own bartender in the next unit over there. Shout out Michael Metz. He made us a little Aperol spritz. It is colorful, like you.
That's
It's adding some color to my outfit because I'm all over here with the grays.
But that's all right. Yours has alcohol in it.
Yes, so he made yours no alc. Mine has a little bit of a champagne in it.
This is really good.
Yeah. And we just got these new ice cubes. They are round, little tiny bolitas.
Bolitas, balls. Balls up in your mouth. All right.
Do you put balls in your mouth?
Absolutely not. I'm too old for that shit.
I know. Like, that was the stuff I did when I was younger and didn't know better. And now I'm like...
Nah, that shit hangs in the toilet. I'm good. I'm good. All right. So, today, what you got for me, girl?
Okay, so I just binge watched episode 1 through 9 of the Squid Games challenge so that we could talk about it because you messaged me.
I sure did.
And you're like, are you watching this? And I said, I am now. And I legit binged the whole thing in 2 days.
So you haven't watched the entire like series.
No. So I
Okay.
watched episode 1 and was like, what is this? This is too much for me.
It's
and
super gory.
I didn't want to watch it dubbed. Like, I wanted to watch it, but then, like, in the original. But then I'd have to read the subtitles. And so then it's really hard for me to do that because I watch stuff while I'm editing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so then it was gory. It was like,
Girl.
so I stopped. So I watched the first episode years ago when it came out. Then I stopped. But then I watched this challenge and I'm back on. I think I'm still very much in the first season. Not much has happened, but I'm getting back on track.
So I love watching like challenges. I watch the MTV, the challenge.
Yeah.
I love all those like competitive shows. And this one is, I mean, this is not so much physical, but more like strategic,
Yeah.
like playing mind games and manipulating people and trying to get in an alliance, right?
Yes.
Man, it's by the time this airs, I hope everybody sees it, but
Yeah, it'll be a few weeks from the season
right.
finale. Or
But the
whatever.
amount of money that the one person is
Dude.
going to win is crazy. Like 4 point,
Five,
is it five
six,
or
five,
six
five, yeah, something. 4.5
million
million.
dollars? And it's like I know this. There was one chick that totally like I was in awe of her, and I don't. She's a part of the Mensa, which is funny because my sister-in-law told me about the Mensa group. You know, do you know what it is?
Yes. So I learned that there's an actual Mensa group that's not just like calling me Mensa.
Right, because in Spanish, Mensa means dumb. Like hey
Yeah.
Mensa, you're
Right.
so dumb.
Yeah.
But Mensa, this group is for the is it like 1% of the entire world,
Yes.
right?
Intelligent wise. Like,
Intelligent
yeah.
wise, their IQ is just through the roof. And she was a part of I mean, when she did the battleship game, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Like her strategizing and saying, nope, everyone's gonna pick, the middle part, the middle section of it, and then you gotta line it on the edges. And I mean, and she was so right. She was like, fuck, man, now I know how to fucking play Battleship. Now I
Yeah.
know, but now
Everyone knows.
everybody knows the way to win.
Yeah.
But man, you really have to be cautious of who you trust, right? Because there was one lady. I mean, you said like she's got to do what's best for her, right? But on the way, do you think it's right to like you make these connections, you make these friendships, and then just to like shit on those people just to get to the top? Like, I don't know.
It's tough because everyone knows that you're in a game. I mean, it's not like the real Squid Games where it's like
No,
can
you're gonna
lose your
die.
life.
Right.
But it's a game. Everyone goes into it knowing that one person is going to win.
Yeah.
And I think along the way, you do form relationships and you do get to know people and you want other people to succeed if you don't. But at the end of the day, like, there's only one person who's going to win. But at the same time, okay, so there's this one game with this girl and she was against a guy and he like started attacking her and she's just like, nah, is this how you want to go down? Like, is this how you want to be remembered?
Which part are you talking about?
It was I am horrible with names, but it was the girl who was doing sign language.
Oh, okay, yes.
And she was like, "No, man, like you got it wrong. I'm not playing the sympathy card. Like I'm just trying to be honest with you." And he's like, "No, you're playing me, and that's why
Oh,
you're
was
gonna
it
go
the
down."
marble game?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't watching fully, and I was like, wait, what just happened? And I didn't feel like rewinding it. But okay,
Yeah.
so why did he do that?
He thought she was trying to play him and make him feel bad for her.
But this is before they chose what they were gonna play.
Yes.
But why did he just come? I was
I don't
wondering, like,
know.
I think he was
I
just
think
nervous, and
yeah. It was a bad look though
it on her or him.
on him.
Yes, totally.
And so I think that's what you also have to be careful of when you're on these shows. Like, you're not just, yes, you're playing for the money, but you're also being watched and your character is coming through. So
It
you gotta be
is.
careful
It is.
how you talk to people, how you like, yeah,
I totally wanted her to win because I thought that was
yeah.
bullshit that he was like throwing it at her face. And then there was another, speaking of that whole marble game, where there was a guy and the girl, and they would not, he wanted her, he was like, I'm not gonna go out because of luck. I don't.
Yes.
And she was like, well, we need to compromise. He's like, no, let's do it this way. Like
Yeah.
he wanted to a game that was going to benefit him. And it's like, no, you, like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Like, you need to compromise.
Yes.
And especially when you have that much money on the line, like, don't go down like being petty, that shit, because at the end of it, they both ended up losing.
Right.
Because they could not come to an agreement. And I feel like that was just selfish on his part.
It was. Yeah.
Like, so selfish.
Yeah.
And they both end up losing an opportunity to win so much money. And I think like it's important when you're doing these games, right? When you're paired up with somebody, to just call out all those rules ahead of time. Because they ended up going with, like, they only had like 2 minutes left, right, of the challenge, and they had to toss the marble into a jar. And they were both, I feel like they were just being like super fast about it because the time was running. And so we're like, shit, let's just go. And they were just like throwing it really fast. And then she finally got one in the jar. And then on the next one, boom, he threw it, right? But they only had that one marble left. So it's like, they were like, well, it's a tie. So who's going to win? And she was like, well, I think I should win because I threw my marble first. He was like, no, that's not fair. So you should have already had this discussion prior to, because, like, in the end, they were both shit out of luck because they didn't come to an agreement and they both got, like, shot,
Yeah.
But that also kind of like makes me think about like trust issues, right? Especially with Mai. And the only reason why I remember her name is because she really screwed over a lot of people along the way. And I really liked her. She's like older Asian woman. I think she was like part of the Navy, right?
Yes.
And she's able to like, man, she was badass in that one challenge where they all were blindfolded and they had to put the gift box on. Like one of
Oh,
the
the
crew
last one,
members,
yeah.
right? They were tapping them, and whoever was tapped had to go get the gift box while everybody else was blindfolded, and then place it on the desk. And then that person that had when they took the blindfolded off, they had to figure out who put it on their desk. And hers was like early on. There was like a lot of people still in the game. But the fact that she was able to like study everybody's face, and she was able to tell who was fidgety, who was not looking her in the eye, who was like, she was just really observing everybody. And in the end, she was able to figure out who put it on her desk, and that person was eliminated. But I think everybody found out at that moment, shit, she's someone that is going to be a threat in this challenge, and we have to like watch out for her, right? Because she's got those skills. She's able to like watch you if you're fucking lying or not. She could tell. She could tell by reading your face. But she like screwed over her so-called best friend, right? Because you got to think about it. When you're watching these episodes, yeah, there might be 45 minutes long. But from what I've read, they were like in this challenge for like hours at a time.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have breaks. They were with these people for a long time. And she made a connection with this guy. He's a basketball coach. Very inspirational, right? And he was like a team leader. He wanted to lead everybody, and people took that the wrong way. People were like, I don't trust him. I think he's full of shit. He's an entertainer and whatnot. But I think he was being really genuine,
Yeah.
you know, and she was talking so much shit. She wanted to get him out.
I know.
And he became the leader. And that leader at that moment, that challenge, he had to pick somebody. So only 20 people were able to move on to the next round. I forget how many people were left, but he ended up choosing her first.
Yeah.
After all the shit she just talked about. Like prior to that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucked up.
I was like,
You were
dang.
just talking all this mad shit about him and how you wanted him out. And then he went and picked you. And she was bawling, crying because she felt horrible, as she should. And that's what I'm saying. Like he really trusted her, but she didn't care. She's like one of those people that are just, they use you to get ahead. Right? And I get it. It's a lot of money on the line. But like you said, your character comes out. And do I want people to remember me as somebody that's conniving, manipulating? Like, no. Then that's who you really are. Deep down inside, that's who you are. And I like I said before, I believe in karma, man. That shit's gonna come back to you one way or another, somehow. So I feel like you just have to be, you know, if it's meant to be to win the money, and if it's, but like, be a good person at the end too.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I felt really bad for him because he like, he was a leader and then he ended up getting first place because somebody put on the bridge, and the glass bridge. He ended up going first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was that glass bridge challenge, man. They were gone like
Like so fast. I felt really bad. And then that other chick, oh, that shit pissed me off. I think her name is Ashley.
oh, when she didn't move.
That she didn't want to move.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she was all like, "What are you talking about? I'm a team player.
Yeah.
I'm this. I moved ahead. Nah, bitch, you moved ahead because the person in front of you fucking dropped."
I'm like, let's rewind the tape and see
Right.
what real happened.
So that just makes me think, like, have you ever had somebody in your life that like that you couldn't trust or you didn't understand, like, you know, if they used
Yes.
you to get ahead?
100%.
Girl, spill it.
100%. And that messed me up because I'm the type of person who will encourage, like, elevate,
Yep.
be like, yes, I see this in you. Like, let's get you, like,
Yeah.
noticed. Let's work together. Let's collaborate. And so I did this specifically for this one person. And I was like, I think we would be a great team. I think we should collaborate on this. And I went and I was like we were fast friends.
Okay.
And I trusted her with a specific part of my business. And I was like, let's do this together. I see so much potential in what you do and in what I do. And we started working together. It was like amazing, like to start out. Like I was like, yes, I finally found my person that I can count on. We're like in this together. And then a few months later, she like did a complete 180 and then dropped me.
What?
And then
But like didn't even like talk to you about it? She just kind of like did she ghost you or?
no, we were in the middle of a project, like working together on something. And during that time, she was like, I don't think we should do this. And I was like, we're already like in the thick of it.
Shit.
And she was like, no, I think like you need to listen to more business stuff. Like I have more
What the
ideas. Like how are we going to monetize? Like I'm not 100% in it. And I'm just like, okay. And we kind of like finished what we were working on. And she was all like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like, tell me, what are you going to do? And I'm just like, I don't need to tell you nothing.
What do you mean? Why was she asking you? What are you going to do?
I think maybe she felt bad. I don't know. I think she
Like,
wanted
what
to
are
know.
you gonna do? like on your own?
Yes. Like, are you going to continue this? Are you going to whatever? And
Why
I'm
does
just
that
like,
matter to her? If she
exactly.
fucking like
Exactly.
dipped.
Exactly. And so then I was like, let me take some time. I need to figure this out. And so then I called her, or we connected a few weeks later, because I needed some closure.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and continue with what I was doing. I had been working on this. I invited you along. And she's like, well, if you want to pay me to be like a consultant or
What
like,
the
and I'm just
fuck?
like, what? And she's like, I thought you'd have this more worked out by now. And I'm just like, what? I don't owe you nothing. Like,
So
what do you
she thought
mean?
you were like the amateur.
I guess. I don't know. But it was
So she
rough.
probably had trust issues too. She
Probably.
probably, or somebody must have, went in her ear and said, are you sure she doesn't
Yes.
is using you to advance
Yeah. And it was we were in different points in our
career?
lives.
Okay.
And so I think she didn't want to commit 100% or we just had I don't know. And I don't want to put words in her mouth because after that I kind of pulled myself away from her and cut it off.
And you
But
haven't
then
you haven't spoken to her since.
no. And I saw that she went ahead and did what we were planning to do together on her own.
Damn.
Yes.
Shit.
And so then that's when I unfollowed, I unsubscribed. I did
For
I
your
needed
own mental health.
yes, I needed because this shook me so much cuz I legit thought the worlds of this person and I was like this is great. I finally found my partner.
That's what I'm talking about. It's fucked up, man.
Yes.
And I think that's why I have trust issues. I really do. Because, I've had, trust issues with my own dad, like walking out, right? So I think I've tried to protect myself from getting hurt again. Whether it be relationship, friendship, business wise, I have that wall up, and it's a good thing and a bad thing because you're not allowing other people to get
Yeah.
in, right? But I think you learn from those mistakes, right? And you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything. You reached out to this person. You thought she would be great at collaborating with you, and you know, it was her. It was not a you problem. It's a her problem because she
Yeah.
shouldn't have committed to you and gotten your hopes up, and then all of a sudden, just in the middle of the project, be like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this. You can pay me." The fuck?
Yeah. I was shocked, appalled, disgusted. And I sat in that wallowing place for so long, and it wasn't until another friend was like, "All right, I've heard enough. You got to move on. You are
Because you were
fine."
festering. You were thinking
Yes.
about it all the time.
And it was getting me so down.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people do this in games because they know the mind, how much it can destroy someone's self-esteem when you're playing a
Absolutely.
game.
Absolutely. And I thinking about that guy that was actually genuinely just loved this lady, and he's gonna look back at these episodes and realize
Yeah.
she screwed him over. And I really hope he's just you know what, you know there are bad people out there, right? But there's also really great people out there. And you can't just, blame everybody. You can't just close off, right? Because somebody really great will come into your life and just change it. And like me with you, it's hey, here I am, Karina. Here I am.
Thank you.
But you also have other friends that you've collaborated with. So,
Yeah.
one bad apple. There's always going to be some people that come into your life that are just no good. And I mean, you were at least open to it, right? And
Yeah.
shit happens, and you realize, like, not everybody, you can't trust everybody. But it's like, it's kind of
Right.
like hard though. Like,
Yeah.
you want to be able to trust people, but also be like guarded at the same time, but like
Yeah.
open. Like, it's shit's hard.
Yeah, and that's why when we first started talking about this podcast, I was just like, "You in? Like you
I
in?
know you did. You did keep
Like,
asking me,
are you sure?"
"Are you sure?"
And then we started spending money, and I'm just like, "I'm gonna click it. Are you for real?"
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. You know, sometimes I like when it's a new opportunity and I'm like being vulnerable and talking about myself, about my life. Yeah, it can be a little bit scary, right? Especially if I'm doing it with somebody that we have known each other for a long time, but we're not like tight, right? I think we've become very close, and you have seen the bad and the good of me, but hey, you're still here. So that means you're a true friend.
I
But
haven't seen what's bad. I've only seen good. I mean, the only thing is that, you're older than me. But
I mean, I did like fart.
look, I wasn't gonna bring it up. You brought it up yourself.
Listen, we all fart and burp, and it's all good. I only do that with people that I'm close with. So,
Oh,
so you should feel special.
I do. Thank you for farting in front of me.
But yeah, like it's hard, man. It's hard out there. You don't know like who's genuine, who's not, who's out like seeking like just to better themselves and just using you. You know, it's
It's a wild, wild west.
it really is, and I think you just have to be open, but also cautious at the same time.
And I think you have to have people around you who are going to be looking from the outside and giving that perspective and asking good questions like,
Yeah.
are you sure?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I have a pretty good circle. I mean, I don't have a lot of friends, but I have, like, it's not quantity, it's quality, right?
Yes. Same. I don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah. And I'm good with that. Like, as long as I got my girls, like, you know, a few of my girls with me, that's all that matters. You're a part of that.
Yay. I was looking at you like, me?
Yes.
So,
But on that note, let's
to
cheers to friendships and trusting again.
that didn't cling.
Great job, Michael. It's
I
very
thought you were going to say great job to me on this episode.
Oh no, great job on that drink. It's very
All right.
Christmassy.
I know. He didn't want a shout out. I mean, he did want the shout out.
He did.
He didn't want to bring it to us.
I know, we did
Next
tell him. I had
time.
an apron and everything for him.
Next season, we got to get him like an outfit. We have to get him an outfit, and we have to have him make all the drinks.
The penguin like suit,
There we go.
like from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
a white man serving us.
All right, on that note, I'm out. Be out.
K out.
See ya.
Bye.